Rome was in chaos. Julius Caesar, beloved by some, hated by others, was assassinated in 44 BCE. His death left a power vacuum, and many men wanted to fill it. But no one expected that the one to rise to the top would be a 19-year-old with no military experience. His name? Octavian. And he wouldn't just avenge Caesar, he would change Rome forever. Imagine being 19 years old and suddenly finding out you've been named the heir to the most powerful man in Rome. That's what happened to Octavian. He was Julius Caesar's grandnephew, but Caesar had legally adopted him in his will, making him his political son. Problem was, nobody took him seriously. He was young, sickly, and had zero battlefield experience. The real players in Rome, Mark Antony, Cicero, and the Senate, thought they could push him aside. They were wrong. Octavian knew he couldn't take on Rome's powerful elites alone. So in 43 BCE, he made a smart move. He teamed up with Mark Antony and Lepidus, forming the Second Triumvirate. Together, they hunted down and eliminated Caesar's assassins, Brutus and Cassius, at the Battle of Philippi. But here's the thing about alliances in ancient Rome. They never lasted. Once their common enemy was gone, Octavian and Antony started turning on each other, and things got messy. Mark Antony fell hard for Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt. This wasn't just a fling, it was a full-on political alliance. And when Antony divorced Octavian's sister to be with Cleopatra, Octavian saw an opportunity. He launched a brutal propaganda campaign, convincing the Roman people that Antony had gone Egyptian and was planning to hand Rome over to Cleopatra. The Senate declared war, not on Antony, but on Cleopatra. Smart move, right? Then came the showdown, the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. Antony and Cleopatra's fleet faced Octavian's navy, commanded by his best general, Marcus Agrippa. Antony's forces were bigger, but Octavian's were faster. When Cleopatra saw things going south, she fled the battlefield with her ships. Antony, torn between strategy and love, followed her, leaving his troops behind. The battle was over before it even really began. With their forces crushed, Antony and Cleopatra retreated to Alexandria. But Octavian wasn't going to let them regroup. He marched into Egypt, cornering them completely. Antony, in despair, took his own life. Cleopatra? She had one final move. Rather than being paraded as a prisoner in Rome, she allegedly let an asp bite her. Just like that, the power couple was gone, and Octavian was the last man standing. But here's the genius part. Octavian didn't march into Rome declaring himself a king. He played it smart. In 27 BCE, he went to the Senate and humbly offered to step down. Of course, the Senate refused and instead gave him the title Augustus, meaning revered one. It was all a show. Augustus controlled the army, the treasury, and the government. Rome was no longer a republic, it was an empire, and Augustus was its first emperor. What followed was the Pax Romana, 200 years of relative peace and stability. Augustus reformed Rome's political system, expanded its borders, and built roads, aqueducts, and cities that would define the empire for centuries. He ruled for over 40 years, dying peacefully in 14 CE, something almost unheard of for Roman leaders. In the end, the sickly 19-year-old no one took seriously had become the most powerful man in the world. Augustus wasn't just another Roman politician. He was the man who ended a century of civil war and laid the foundation for an empire that would last for over 1,000 years. His story isn't just about power, it's about strategy, patience, and knowing exactly when to strike. And in the end, it's thanks to him that we even have a Roman Empire to talk about. Subscribe for more.